see the red button. That means it's official, and I can't say how I really feel.
Yeah. So here we go. Oh, do one clap on your end.
Ooh, that's good. All right. I'm recording audio as well, so
you know how like when you do videos, sometimes Sam, this is something I like as an industry expert. Sometimes you need to sync, audio to video. And so if you do a clap right now, I promise that it will help me in the video editing process, of which I am a consummate professional and longtime expert.
Same, because it sounds best when you hit the mic instead of clapping.
Oh, that's yeah. Let's do that.
Little industry trope tick.
Thank you.
There we go.
So welcome to my conversation. This one we started a little later just because of scheduling. So I'm gonna finish this and then upload it immediately. So totally if you're watching this on Sunday, we had this conversation like an hour ago. But this is Sam Harchik. He is, oh my gosh, you have so many hats, and it's really sick to see how those have developed over the years. But Sam is a videographer, a video editor, a musician, a guitarist, a band leader, so many things. And the reason why you just want to talk to Sam every now and then is because you just know he's so into, he does such a good job on everything. And this is why Sam is a boy after my own heart, is because it will kill him if it's not what he wants it to be. Right. So whenever I see you make something, you're just giving it your all. So where does that come from for you? Who told you, or who did you see doing something that was incredible or awe-inspiring, and you're if I'm going to be doing these things, I'm going to make sure that's 100%. And if I get sick in the middle of a video shoot, which is a story that we're going to talk about, I'll keep going no matter what, because this just has to look ridiculously good or sound ridiculously good. So where does that come from for you?
Yeah, I can't say it was one particular person or event or moment. It's just kind of a way of being wired. And I know this is not to sing my praises so much. It's more so to say everyone in this scene of music that I think we're in.
That's
and
fair.
Peripherally, video people that I know who are just interested in similar things as me. We all sort of have this, pardon my French, this give a shit gene that my dad likes to quote. Yeah. He uses that to describe the people that, like to mow their lawns every single day right outside his window when he's trying to work. And it's hey, your lawn is fine. You don't have to annoy the entire neighborhood. Those people aren't wired with the give a shit gene. We are the people that are just passionately, almost to a fault, forced to make something a certain way until it's perfect, or until we drop dead, kind of, whichever happens first.
Yeah. So it extends into videography and music. So at this point, you're working. Where are you working at?
Right now, I'm in Brookline, if that's what you're looking for, Brookline, Mass.
Yeah.
Just outside of Boston, where we went to Berkeley together. Actually.
And you're with iZotope, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So iZotope is a company that makes some sick plugins. Obviously, I think anyone watching this probably will know who iZotope is.
And you should be hearing some right now. I'm denoising my voice with it.
Ooh.
Fancy.
So what do you do for them, and what does a day look like working at iZotope in your department?
Well, for everyone else who works at iZotope and interacts with me, this is what I look like on a daily basis. A lot of the equipment I have in here is actually stuff that I use to produce videos for them. But more recently, since COVID and work from home, we've been doing a lot of visual marketing and branding, graphic design, and motion animation and stuff. And it's not a side of video production that I had a lot of experience with, quite honestly, before I started at that company. And then it just sort of became something we fell into, much like all of the musicians in our scene have sort of adjusted their lives to being on webcams rather than on stages. So it's just another form of adapting. And in this case, it was part of my job. So it's kind of cool that I was able to also take some of the learnings from that and apply it to video that I like to do on my own time for my own pleasure and for my freelance clients like yourself, and for my band as well. So it's just been a huge learning year for me. In addition to just adjusting to all that. Yeah.
That's sick. Yeah, I mean the iZotope stuff always looks really slick. I'm sure there's been some like a learning curve there, because before you were like, a lot of what you were shooting seemed to be subjects, like for a music video or for a wedding or for whatever, and now you're dealing like you're making like a plugin look super good in a video. So like, was that a lot of new skills, or did you already know what to do for that?
Well, as a person who uses all their stuff,
right.
And maybe I didn't use like every single plugin they used beforehand, but I was definitely aware of them in the scene, and
they're like they I think they were one of the most, maybe because like Jonathan Weiner, worked at, and he worked there, so like he still does. It was just one of the most respected brands, I feel like, when we were at Berkeley. Like there was no debate over like, are they good plugins?
Yeah, that's one of the branding challenges they're trying to kind of crack right now. It's iZotope has a very, well, in the name, iZotope is like a play on the word isotope, like a very sciencey, like smart word. So we have this air of like quality, or like from that, sentiment. But I think we're also trying to break into the scene of being the products for like the everyman, as far as like audio people. Like it shouldn't be intimidating as like I need to be smart to use iZotope. iZotope should be as approachable and friendly as like any plugin you'd ever want to use.
Interesting.
So still working on that.
Yeah, because like I've noticed some of that. Like I will use like the master assistant every now and then. Like I'll let it run its thing and see what the EQ would do, to see how far off I am according to the powers that be.
As in a phone, you see like a huge low end bump, and you're just like, where did
I gotta go to bed. Where did I go wrong? I'm not even close. Yeah. But yeah, so that's like that side, like iZotope making their plugins look sick, probably doing a lot of interview videography, I take it, and stuff like that. But then there's the sort of like making video content for bands like us, which has been, I mean, it's been a fun ride. Like
little bands like you guys, yeah.
I call him the sixth member, like, and I mean that very sincerely, because most of the time, the songs that we've done with you, specifically Color Wheel, My Heart Sometimes, and Leonessa, I think those are the ones that would stand out for me. It'd be the song that's like closest to my heart, of like, I need, like, the making of the song was so personal, and the result was so like such a hard fight to get to, like when you have those songs, like I'm sure we'll talk about Outliers in a second, but like like those songs where it's just like it took everything, and you're just stoked that it even came close to like what you had in your head, like the vision that you had in your head. And then to have a videographer who hears that, and because you sort of understand like the genre, I think you hear that like the passion behind those songs, and it's like, that can be visually displayed in this way, and I think I know how to get there, and then you execute it. And that's why it's so fun, because I know when I send you the song, like, because I usually send you the demo to every Art Checo, like even before it's been recorded, because I know Sam's going to want to like turn some gears maybe.
And it already sounds that good. So when I hear the final version, I'm just like, you guys are nuts.
Well, yeah, the demos are like, it gets really cleaned up by the end. It's like a lot of the passion is there, but yeah, it's still pretty dirty then. But yeah, just your ability to like hear a song and get it is invaluable, and that's why I think the videos that you've made resonate with people, is because like if it's immediate results, like the quirkiness factor is totally reflected. If it's Color Wheel, like the power, happiness vibe, and Leonessa, the like subtle, I don't know, vibey vibe, I guess, is totally, but also like the way that song, my goal with making that song was that it's going to change production styles like every 16 measures, and that's going to be okay because it's the same theme, but we're going to like just ride the line of like what a production 360 can be. And then what you did with the video was like, I didn't tell you to like change the vibe every time the vibe changed. And then I'm looking back in the edit, and it's like, of course he did this. Like the vibe changed there, the video vibe changed. So there's this good like prog relationship, I think, of like you get the genre because you have a band in this genre who I've actually looked up to since like 2012. I remember at Berkeley. Yeah. So that album came out 2012 for your band Aviations.
Yeah, it was forever ago at this point.
Yeah. And it was a big deal. Like, did you know at the time that how conscious were you of the fact that it was like resonating with people? Did you like experience that immediately when that came out?
The process of making it was kind of crazy, just from the fact that it was like so early in my career at Berkeley, like my career,
Right.
just starting and realizing that there were other people that wanted to make music that I was interested in. And James, for example, was like the first person I met and started making music with, immediately had songs that I didn't necessarily know that was the direction I wanted to go in, but I could hear enough of the influences of what I was listening to go and why I went to Berkeley, like the Dream Theaters and the Peripheries and all that stuff. And even more heavier music I wasn't quite listening to yet at that point. I've since very much diversified in those early years of listening to metal
right
and
off
whatnot.
the back. It was right off the back of P2. Was that an influence for that album?
For sure. I think like vocally,
that was the album.
That was
right
a
there.
huge transition point. Because I remember listening to P1 in like art class every day in high school and just like painting watercolors and listening to Gent, and that was just like my high school career.
Yeah, like the summer before I went to Berkeley, which was summer of 2012. Yeah, that was the art.
Yeah.
That was the band at that time. It didn't like replace Dream Theater, but it was the first band since Dream Theater where I had that feeling of like.
There was so much happening in music at that time.
Yeah.
As far as like bands putting out albums, and Periphery 2 had all the guest solos too, with like Guthrie and John Petrucci. And so like seeing that come out, just the excitement around that, like also fed into like, I need to make an album and we need to put it out with this band. So we just found a couple people. The lineup has changed a lot over the years, but as far as like, did we know it was going to be popular right away? Not necessarily, until we just started putting things out. And, you know, we're very wired in the same way. Whereas if we haven't spent like countless hours polishing something until we release it, we're always very hesitant to let it go. And even when it's quote unquote done, we don't want to let it go. Yeah. And I think around that time I was starting to learn what I wish I continued to respect, was kind of just putting it out and seeing who comes is like something you got to do. Like you can't sit on it forever.
Keep moving.
Yeah. Because every little bit we put out got like a lot of positive response that I wasn't anticipating. And that all led up to a CD release show in October of 2012 that was crazy attended at the Middle East upstairs in Boston. It was like just a sea of people in there. And like half of them I did not know. And it was insane to me. Like, and that show was probably the worst show we ever played. We played to a click track on a laptop. The laptop crashed. There's video somewhere that I'll show people once I'm ready to die on that hill. But yeah, it was a crazy time. And yeah, we lost a bit of momentum over the years learning, but I wouldn't have changed anything. Honestly, I'm so happy with where everything's at right now.
Yeah. So those songs were strong. They are strong. And it prompted you to like, how many, like this is like almost 10 years, like 8 years later to rehash it's 3 or 2 of them.
Well, I was originally looking to do 3. We had an instrumental song on that record that we've since made another version of. We did like a little studio video for it a few years ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And we opened with it, I think, on our, forget if that was our tour or if it was the 2018 when we did with Outrun, but one of those you
definitely started with an instrumental. So it might have been that. Yeah.
Might have been that. Yeah. It was super vibey and I wanted to track it again, but we just didn't get around having quite enough time to do it. So we stuck with our 2 strongest.
We should talk about that for a second. Yeah. How on Archeco's first tour, Aviations came along, and during the Aviation set, I would stand in the audience with an iPad and mix them, and then we'd do some like patching to like get our drum set back in or something. Yeah. And then Sam would sit in the audience and mix Archeco. And looking back, the sound engineers were probably just like face palming every time we'd show up. It's like, oh, dude, I remember, the iPad will do it. That's going to be great.
The biggest eye roll I got was at Hard Luck when you guys opened for Hail the Sun and Good Tiger.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And I went to the back and the guy was like, all right, just so you know, if you move this fader above like this decibel level, I'm cutting your set. And I was like, No
Yeah.
pressure. Because like it would have been my fault if you guys got kicked off a bill with like these bands. Like
That night was very stressful. We felt no one was being like mean, but it was just like we were
pressure was on. Yeah.
very newbie-ish, and they had been touring for like forever, and that was one of those first experiences we had where we showed up to a really professional touring act and realized that like, yeah, there's a lot to learn. And
Up 4 flights of stairs, mind you, but
oh yeah,
very professional.
That was crazy.
And our bassist Werner was running your merch table. So
really?
You guys could, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That was the most fun.
I don't remember that.
I'm like 90% sure either I signed an Arch Echo CD or you guys. No, yeah, that happened. Yeah, I at least signed an Arch Echo CD at least once. So it's out there
hilarious.
somewhere. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, that was such a fun tour. I mean, that was our first time doing a real tour, and it was just nice to have people you get along with. I think we valued that experience going forward of like, and we saw when we didn't have that, and we saw when we did, and it made us really appreciate just like, so on the previous tour when we did the tour with Periphery in February, bringing like Tyler on board to mix, I feel like was sort of like, it still resonated from that feeling of like someone who we've known for a long time and is like a nice person, like that made it better. So yeah, that first tour was really fun and quite, you guys, where did you sleep? Like, where did you shower? I swear you guys just didn't shower, right?
I'm trying to remember. Like we didn't very often. And I'm already getting my wires crossed because James wasn't on that tour.
Yeah,
our current drummer, who is insane. Andrew Scott was our drummer at that point. And yeah, it's really all kind of a blur at this point. I could like get into more details if I sat with it for a minute, but yeah, just the white van.
If you want to watch anything about it, I think it's on. I think there's a video. I think it's by Werner, right? Or
yeah, he had a little bit of a thing.
Yeah, he put something out. So if you've seen him, he's the guy with like the yellow Dingwall doing like a lot of covers. And yeah, I used to see his videos like years before he even like touched base with you. So that night that you like showed up into Adam Rafwitz's basement and all of a sudden this dude was here who I'd been seeing for years. I was like, this is cool. Like, like we're building some community here or something.
This guy just walks in. Yeah, who does he think he is?
Yeah, that was sick. And then so yeah, the Outliers video just came out. It's I mean, knowing how hard you work on a video and then understanding how hard you work on music, I'm sure when the two passions combine, you must be tearing your hair out in the best way on those projects. Like, what did making that video entail? Like stress wise, like preparation wise, like did it kill you or did you enjoy it? Or do you only enjoy it now because it's over?
Very much the latter. The fact that it's done at all is like incredible to me. And I mean that in every sense of the word. Like so much pre-production and planning went into it on my end that not even my band members saw.
Oh yeah.
As far as like storyboarding, I have a whole like 8-page storyboard of like little crude drawings of like how I wanted stuff to be laid out. And we had this whole B storyline with Richard's cats. If you guys remember the cat from the beginning of the video, we wanted to like basically follow him on a little like journey through the song. And as soon as we got there, it was impossible to get him to like walk across a room without just like baiting it with a bowl of tuna juice. So
the cat was planned.
The cat was planned. That was about the only shot that I could get. And the irony of that whole situation, I realize now, is Richard has several cats and a dog now that he didn't have at the time, but adorable 3-legged dog, just so cute. And one of the other cats, her name is Oolong. She would wander into frame every time we were trying to get the other cat, Sebastian, to actually act for us. And she was like, What are you guys doing? I'm here. I'm ready to be in the video. And we didn't once think for a second to just pivot to using her. Yeah. But the long or the short of it was we had about like I think a 2-day roughly shoot planned with like all of this stuff, and we spent about 3.5 days getting like maybe half of it. So best laid plans, man. It's I know it's something we can all kind of.
And you didn't sleep, of course. You didn't sleep.
Oh, of course we didn't. Any shots that
no.
you see of me in the video, if it wasn't during the daytime, I guess we're talking about the latter half in the dark, which was actually shot at night, not like it needed to be. We were in Richard's empty garage in the middle of like an August summer in Tennessee. So it was hot as hell. The ceilings were maybe 7 feet and like just totally cramped. And any shot you see of me in the dark is basically me at 3 a.m. realizing, oh yeah, I have to be in this video. Jeez. After filming everyone else myself because we didn't have any crew there. So I had to basically hand the camera to one of my band members, whether it was like Eric, I think it was Eric or Werner were the ones that filming me, and said, hey, go for it. And the other side of that coin was the shots during the day. The light was coming through just in a certain way that because we were just filming in Richard's house. If that wasn't clear, we literally just borrowed his house, used it as a set. Didn't do much
shot is
design.
sick with the lights coming through the blinds and stuff.
Yeah, we woke up at like 6:30 or so in the morning, and we're like, or I did, sharing that room with Eric because we were sleeping in a house. We had nowhere else to set up. All our clothes and everything is everywhere, and we looked out the window, and I said, "Dude, this looks sick. We got to film this like now." And he was like, oh shit, all right, man, let's do it. And so like in 20 minutes we like moved the cots and all our clothes over and just like got the shot, and that was like what that whole weekend was.
That's great.
Man, the sun waits for nobody.
Yeah. Wow. And then there's like a star curtain look in there or something. There's a lot of different places. Whoa, look at this stream boy just pulling up stuff. Sick.
What's funny about that curtain, it was an idea that I had, and I was doing all this research on Amazon trying to like pick up a proper curtain that was like maybe $300-400 that I could like reuse some other day or whatever. And the only thing that I could find that was big enough to fit the bill was this company in like California that rents giant star walls for like big theater productions. So I was like, all right, are we going to do this? Screw it. Let's just pull the trigger, sent the money. The thing got shipped from California to Tennessee for that day. Wow. And just a giant box. And we actually shipped a lot of camera gear as well, because everyone who didn't drive down to Richard's house just flew. So I could only bring so much equipment with me. And I even like rented this camera rather than bringing it. So it was just a whole bunch of boxes showing up at Richard's house leading up to the shoot. And
wow.
Missing
That's
cables
stressful.
And just a whole insane, crazy thing. So to bring that back a bit to like what you were saying about like having a sound person with you on tour, it's like having an extra set of hands would have been, even just one more person would have been so invaluable.
That's a great segue there, because let me tell you about Sam Harchik in an Arch Echo video shoot. We're the worst employers ever because obviously, especially starting out, the budgets are tight, and you want to be able to have a little bit of money set aside for like other things besides the videos going forward. So we try to, you've been super helpful, and I think that's a point worth making. Is not only is this dude like making sick videos, but he's trying to make it work, because I think you do enjoy the art,
To some degree, yeah.
So that's. But the point I'm trying to make is we've had some shoots where it would have been very nice to have a second person, and as a result of not having a second person, specifically the Color Wheel shoot, Sam started out the day, which was probably like 9 a.m. at 110%, like the professional
optimal performance.
Sam, the professional, like flying around, like these lights would look sick, and then like this camera shots here, and then Richie set up your drums, let's go, and then like around 1, you start to like sniffle a little, like you've done a couple, like 3 people by this point, like a lot of shots, like 6-7
like
hours.
staunchly halfway through.
and then we get food at like 4. Sam refuses to eat any, like it's barbecue from Nashville. He just doesn't eat. And then
that doesn't process right now. I can't believe I said no.
He keeps going. And then around, 6, 7, 8, you can tell he's given himself the plague, quite literally. Like you're just so visibly ill. Like it's like you are ill. You have a cold and everything that would just be like a sign of complete degradation of self for the love of the shoot. And
if COVID was here, then I had it.
And do you know what we did after that? You know what we did after that is we got in the car at 8 p.m.
Yeah.
And then we had to drive through the night to get you back to New Jersey because we had to get back to New York for like a couple gigs that I had. Adam Rafowitz was in the car. All of the camera equipment was in the car. And there was this like mix up with my license at the time. So we got stopped in New Jersey because I did like a dumb turn. And they said my license was suspended, which it wasn't. But it was July 4th so you can't like call anyone to figure out.
Literally the perfect storm.
Can you just tell them that my license? So long story short, this car that I just got, I can't drive. And then on the drive home, my now wife MC did like most of the drive. Sam's just dying in the front seat.
I barely remember it.
The whole night, just like kind of like waking up to sneeze and like just roll over. And then
fading in and out of Devin Townsend songs.
Adam Rafowitz and I like hugging each other in two seats because one of us had to choose to be on the middle seat because it was just so uncomfortable because the other side seat was filled with gear. So whoever was sitting on that middle seat just knew it's like this is going to be like about 4 hours of just torture and then my shift will be over. But it had to be me more often because I couldn't drive. So I think I really wanted to drive. But anyway, we drove from Nashville all the way back up to northern New York, which is like 21 hours straight, something like that. Dropped you off in a near New York City area. And then that video, but throughout all of that, despite the craziness of it, you were getting good stuff because then the video turned out to be great. So even within the craziness and getting sick and like, just, you really could have been like, you could have been mean to us or like, I don't know. You could have just been a little hard on us on like, guys, this is not possible right now. Like this one day thing or like this setup, we need another day or I need to bring someone, let's make it work. But so thank you for at that time, taking care of little us and helping us. And yes, luckily on the To the Moon video, you didn't have to do anything like that. You just had to shoot me and then you didn't edit. And then on Leonessa, you just edited, which I liked. Which all had
their own challenges. Yeah.
I liked this way, like you didn't have to travel. You didn't have to, we found some great videographers. I mean, they did a good job. So, what was that process like? How do you feel about that video? Given the challenges that we had, yeah.
I'm super happy with how it came out. Just like anything else I've been talking about today, I'm glad it's done.
Yes.
Because anything that you put a lot into is like, you've seen 80 different iterations of it that no one else has. And it's like time to let it go. But yeah, logistically, it's obviously a lot easier to let somebody else do the brunt work of actually, or legwork, I guess, of actually getting up and moving the lights and putting the cameras and directing you guys. And the only thing I really missed from that was shooting with you guys. I, saw some of the behind the scenes footage of you being directed or not you specifically, like some of the other guys, and just realizing like, oh, it is a very different vibe when you have like 5 crew members from like a video production background who aren't really necessarily musicians and
right, yeah.
or like get you guys as people. It's a very much more clinical kind of client professional relationship. And yeah. I think we kept things pro and we got things done, but it was fun to, shoot the shit and just shout random things when stuff was happening. And it was a good hang. So
yes,
that was the part I missed, but I think the product that we got and the source material I had to work with was awesome. Like Adam R's camera was some fancy RE camera, and you got to film with a videographer from Burlington who had this nice red camera. So I got to play with some new footage. It was a whole big learning experience on that front too. So lots of little cherries on top for me as far as the production goes. But yeah, matching cameras as far as like different cameras, people shooting in different places. That's something everyone's going to be getting used to as a band in 2021 now. Especially if you don't live near each other, you're going to be making videos like this for the foreseeable future. I think we probably are too. We're trying to figure out easier ways of doing that. We just shot one actually, but it's not nearly done. We're trying to find an editor to. Actually, no, we have an editor now. We're just sending it out to be cut soon, and that's a huge learning experience for me because I'm super big ball of stress.
You're letting go. You're letting go of that.
Yeah, mostly because I know I'll take too long to make decisions that will ultimately not be super important to the final product. So
okay, hey man, good on you. That's tough. I couldn't imagine like sending our music out to mix yet or something like that to someone else.
Well, that's not totally fair because you guys have Adam Bentley on your team. So
yeah, but like, you know, he has work too. Like at some point I feel like we could allow him to have at least an assistant on or something. But that process of I guess I do assist him a lot in the file prep and the like editing and all that. But yeah, it's hard. It's hard. I can imagine sending that stuff out is a step, but I'm sure it'll be sick.
And that's why Adam ended up mixing our last EP.
Oh finally. Yeah,
I think we probably got everything we wanted
because you had mixed that. He also like you mix great. Like you're a great mixer.
Thanks.
So that's great. Yeah. What, do you do that at all now? Like be on demos? Like what's the last thing you mixed? Like, is it mostly for fun?
Yeah, it's mostly just for demos and stuff. Actually, another buddy of ours from Berkeley, Dave Dunsire, just put out a song like a couple weeks ago that we worked on together. I think it was actually right before we did the video shoot for Immediate. Okay. And I was it was like a few months before that. And so it was just kind of sitting on a drive for forever. And then he threw it out and said, hey, like, is it okay if I put this mix you did? And I was like, cool. I didn't remember finishing it. Yeah. And then he put it out and I was like, hey, this is kind of cool. So I do have a couple like one-off production stuff happening here and there, but it's not necessarily a main focus of mine. Like, as we've been talking about this whole time with professional projects or even like your own, it takes so much out of you. So I found it's really difficult for me to pivot and like produce my friends' bands as much as I would want to. My ear loves to latch on to like a great demo or something that I hear from a friend of mine or something that they might think is done. And I immediately have like 1,000 ideas that I just want to like vomit onto them immediately. Yeah. And that's not always the best thing. You kind of want to just be able to say, hey, this like actually is awesome because I'm getting all these ideas. So it's probably fine. But someday let's collab. Let's do the thing.
Let's collab. Let's jam sometime, man.
Let's jam sometime. Point being there, I always want to someday collaborate with everybody, but I just am slowly learning there's not even enough hours in the day. Even with a pandemic, when you're stuck inside all the time, there's
the album comes out when you're like 70.
It's so true.
Finally, the album comes out. It's going to be called Sam Collabed with Everybody. And
it's like the sucky puppy of people.
Yeah. That's amazing. So, man, what did we miss? There's so much more to talk about, even like stories. Like we didn't talk about the immediate results shoot. That was fun.
Those are all happening in the same studio too. We went there twice, right?
We went there twice, but you
guys went there 3 times.
We also did Hip Dipper there.
That's right.
So we did Hip Dipper there with another crew. And then you did Color Wheel, and it's this very small studio. Like it's essentially it's like a metal box out in the middle of nowhere, like 20 minutes outside of Nashville. Container. Yeah, it's like a shipping container, but it's a very nice little. What do you call it? A sick wall? Is that what you call it?
Yeah, sick as in like how do you spell CYC for cyclorama?
Yeah, and it can be white or it can be green. We've never done green, but yeah, so Immediate Results, the video on Color Wheel, and Hip Dipper are all in the same spot. But that Immediate Results thing where we like got all the props last minute, and the fact that you were like okay with that and then used it was a very good because you could have made it. You could have first not allowed us to do it and been like, this is dumb, which you didn't do, and you could have also like overused it, which you didn't do.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a good balance that you found between that.
I do have to say just about that in general, working with you guys, like I really appreciate all the compliments earlier about like, oh, like Sam just gets it, and when he listens to the sections of the song, he knows how to like separate them all and stuff. And just I got to give you guys some credit for letting me run wild with all this stuff, because I've worked with plenty of people, and I consider myself one of those people who are just, they hold things so close to the chest. It's kind of a theme we've been talking about this entire time.
Yeah.
And letting somebody just run wild. Wow, that shouldn't be a tongue twister, and yet it is. With an idea that has to do with like visually showcasing your song. Like the fact that you guys just let me do that is absolutely insane. It's one of the only reasons I've actually come back to work with you guys.
It's not even frankly a question at this point. And the water, anything in Leonessa, essentially, I didn't give you, I don't think I gave you any, we just gave you footage. Like the water stuff, that was just your feeling about that section. And then all the other vibes in there, that was all Sam. I didn't say it should be this. So yeah, it's great, man. It's great that trust is there. And I mean, I'll start worrying about that when you prove me wrong. Like you're yet to prove me wrong that just saying Sam kind of is going to get it will not bring us a great video. So, yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah, the learning experience for me is trying to do that for our material as well. Like,
oh, dude, you're fine. You're fine. Like Outliers, the feeling of that song was captured. I don't know if anyone knows this, but Outliers was released because an Aviations fan pestered Sam Harchik for the last, we'll call it 4 or 5 years, about how great Outliers is. And so Sam was like, you know what? I'll record and make a backbreaking video for this song, just for this one fan. And that's this guy. This guy, Outliers to me, I don't think I've ever said this, but Outliers 100% was a catalyst for my heart sometimes. Definitely. Oof. That feeling of like a theme that's close to you and then developing it, and then like that middle section. We don't go to the breakdown land that you guys do, obviously.
That's the 2011, 2012 ignorance sneaking in.
Oh no, it's fun. It's fun. It's fun because you double down in that break. You're like,
we went full tilt.
If it was like 5 seconds, it would be super cheesy. But the fact like that breakdown has that one other level where you think it's done, and then it has those 8 more measures or so. That's why it's good, because you're like, this is a breakdown, and then the listener is like, yes, this is a breakdown, and you're like, this is a breakdown. This is like, okay. You're like, no, this is a breakdown. Listen to my breakdown. So that's
the Muffin Man. If the Muffin Man.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that feeling of like the there goes my eyes part where it breaks. It was nothing more than I just wanted us to feel. I wanted to make something that felt that good. So that was the definitely a thought in my mind when we were making that section was Outliers. So thank you for that. And yeah, I hope to see, I'm excited to see, I'm sure you've been cooking up music since, cause the Light Years came out a while ago. Your second album came out a couple of years ago now. So there must be demos back there in the drive at this point.
Yeah. Real quick before we get onto any of that, I just want to say, like, one of the reasons I latch on to your guys' music as much as I do, and I think as much as anybody does, is I think we both share a similar sensibility of just like composing music we want to play, yes, but like trying our best to maximize what I call impact moments, almost like a film score person would do. And I know like you and Joe have like film scoring or sensibilities and experience in that way. So like just knowing that a moment is coming in a song, and I can also totally hear this because you mentioned before you guys like to send me demos when you're thinking about videos, and then I get to hear the finalized version and see even these parts that I thought were hitting amazing when they had like just GGD MIDI drums on them
Yes.
are now hitting with this like euphoric, like just slap in the face. And it's like, oh my God, like these guys just get it. Like
Yes.
Outliers for me was like my first real,
The answer is the addition of 10 more impact samples.
yes. Reverse samples and swells and bass drums.
Boom!
That's all you need.
Now the song feels good. What good writing. Let me reach into that folder and paste. No, just kidding. But yeah.
No, the next record's going to have whichever band members of ours are the most at each other's throats by the time we're done recording. The other one's going to slap them in the face. So we're going to just throw that on the throw that on the record.
Yes, the intensity.
That'll be perfect. So yeah, I'll just say that's like a huge influence on any music.
Well, it's
that
storytelling.
I'm making.
It's for us. I think prog is storytelling, and a theme is a thread in your story. And usually, for when you and I make a song, it seems that theme is sort of seen with like a little bit of mist in front of you, like your glasses are fogged or something.
Yeah.
Like it takes, you don't want to give it all away, right from the get go. Or if you do, it's like you think this is cool. Like it's like I don't think you and I have ever made a song within these bands where we're not like, I am positive that whoever listens to the first 30 seconds of this has not heard the best yet. We want them to think that the first 30 seconds to a minute are good, but I want any Harchik listener to be positive that like at the 3 minute and 30 seconds mark, like they're going to be like, oh, I get it. So like that's something that this genre always delivers when an artist puts out a good song or a good album is like, just don't click it off yet. Like if you can get a fan base that understands that like, just don't click off yet. Like this is a journey and let's do this. And I promise I'm not going to like let you down by copy pasting this the same exact way.
Even when we're comparing like 4 to 5 minute songs, which are on the longer spectrum for a lot of people, to like what our average song length always seems to be around like 7+ minutes, which I got to be honest, we have not learned our lesson on this next record. by any means. We have at least one 10-minute pluser still at this moment. We'll see if it gets cut down again, but dear Lord, that is such a true statement though. Like getting people to just like last longer through the song and in a way that's not like holding out and making the first part of the song boring just so the latter parts like sound better. It's really just about literally leaving it all out in the field and using every single iteration or metric modulation that like within reason works within the song. I'm sure you guys have like thrown a few in there that you're just like, yeah, this is a bit too much, but
oh my gosh, yeah, we have some. Normally it would be an out of breath where it's the first. It's
like the first minute is everything.
We've made some 10-second starts of songs that are so bad it would make your head spin. Just like a 10-second thing where we spend like maybe 2 or 3 hours, maybe 4 hours, just like working on this, like, really, really taking it seriously. Like, yeah, no, that kick should go there. And then we listen back and we're, oh,
you guys should make like a just a bunch of 10-second songs album and just call it Archhechno.
Yes. Wow. Very, very good.
I could be your marketing manager, just saying, but
that's it.
So many hours in the day.
Just for me, it's always that hump of just getting the basket of themes down. Like once I know the 2 or 3 or 4 things, I think with us, it's usually 4. Mm-hmm. Like the 4 ideas that are going to carry this song. Once I'm completely happy with those, then I can like make the song. But getting past even the first 2 is usually, that's where it all is. It's just getting those two themes essentially of like those work well together and they are better because they're with each other. So
yeah, that's something we're still struggling with. We're very much in a through composed land of like the typical prog thing where it's like, all right, this section is great. Now let's just write another section that's great and write another section that's great. And you get like 4 or 5 deep and you're just like, hey guys, like we had this great section 5 minutes ago. Why don't we bring it back? And
remember all of a sudden, song we wrote in this song?
So that's something we're still struggling with. I think we have a handful of melodies this time around that having like all six of, because we have six people now, which is just insane to me. All focusing on this music collectively, we have a bit of a stronger voice of people advocating for, hey, this sort of notey floaty thing that's just sort of happening, could this be clarified as like something that somebody could sing back? Like, granted, we do have a vocalist, and that could be something that he sings, or if it's something that's complementing something he sings, but just being able to like take a step back from all the kind of music vomit you threw into a computer, because computers make anything possible. And taking stock of like what actually sounds good. So I'm going to really try and take a cue from some of the music that you guys are doing, as far as like how to arrange a great like prog metal song that isn't like just beat down in your face and like overly indulgent. Cause I feel like so many songs, especially from like your second record, is when I started realizing like by like even the first or second time I'd heard the song, by the end of it, I was already like singing the melody in my head, to the point where I thought, and this is not to say all your songs sound the same, I thought it was from the first album, because the melody was so ingrained in my brain by like the end of like the song. Like, and that's such a staple of like really good pop music too, which is like by the end of the song, you are singing along with the chorus at like top of your lungs. And that's like,
and that's where we gain some fans. That's also where we lose some fans. Like, some prog fans do really want it to just meander, like, and that's fine. But yeah, no, I like that you can start like an intro of a song live and like see people's face light up because they like know that theme. So that's it's, well, thank you. Thank you.
Just
I'm producing Aviations, confirmed.
Yes.
I'm gonna co-produce some stuff. Just send me some
Credit where
demos.
credit's due. Yeah.
I'll be like, this riff is good. This is the one. Do that riff. No, but yeah, man, yeah. That I wish you the best of luck in all that writing. I'm looking forward to whatever's next.
Yeah, we're recording a month from like 2 days ago. So that's the first drum recording session. We have 2 days booked in this studio in Rhode Island. And then pretty much everyone's going to be up here except for Werner, because he can't get into the country, being overseas. And we'll be doing our best to follow COVID protocols and all that. But we'll do 2 days drums, and then 2 days at another studio that has a piano, Rhodes, and harpsichord. Wow. And we have like one moment at least where there is like legit just the harpsichord doubling stuff, and we're like, why don't we just use a real one? So we'll see if that comes to fruition and makes it to the end. But
I don't know if I've
just
ever
looking to
used
like
one of
experiment
those.
as much as possible.
I've used one of those in past bands. I don't think ever in Art Checo though.
Now you have to do it.
Now I have to do it.
We have a harpsichord, so you have to have a harpsichord. Just like what were the two records that came out? Yep, Plenty and Intervals both had sax solos, so you gotta.
Oh, sax.
Yeah, you gotta copy that too.
Yeah, that's a thing to do for sure. Yeah, I'll put some harpsichord in, but it's you're not going to expect the genre at all. It's going to be like over 808s or something. I'm going to find a way to make this fun.
Classical 808s.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Cool, man.
Actually, I should mention real quick, because it's because I have it queued up here because I'm a psycho, and it's what happened yesterday. I hosted a Dingwall stream.
Yes.
For the first time with my first time virtually meeting Adam Nolly Get Good, in addition to Sheldon and Rob Vanderloo, bassist for Epica, which was like insane.
Nice.
I got to say hi for a second while they had the interview, but there was a part of the interview that was like super poignant to like everything that we're doing, and I just figured I should share it.
Okay, sick.
I don't know about you guys, but I feel like it's more like you just can't be. It's just got to be a certain way, and you're not going to be happy with only achieving. That's it. Like with it just not being that way you wanted. I know, Sheldon, you've spoken about designing headstocks and stuff like that, and the number of iterations you go through, and how long it takes until it's that thing that you probably couldn't have defined in the very beginning, but you know when you reach it, and you certainly know when you haven't reached it yet. And it's just you can't put it down and say it's done until you get to that point.
And it's just that's it. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's I'm not like scared to still say that I'm like a periphery super fan from like the work ethic standpoint.
Yeah,
like so back in the day there was some interview where they said the same thing. I think it was like, it's just got to be right or something like that. and that's totally the mantra that I've stuck to, and I know that you stick to. And anyone who like seems to be consistently putting out something that has a lot of care adheres to, is that it's like, yes, I will try to not stop moving and not stop putting things out, but I'm gonna do it right. And if that means that if I don't have to do it up against a deadline, then I'm gonna like just do it till it's done. And if I do have a deadline, I'm like not gonna sleep because this has got to be good. So yeah,
deadlines are good thoh. Dangerous, but
oh my gosh,
good.
they're very good. Yeah, very good. It's I'm trying. I'm trying to make album 3 the first one where I just do it, not because like I have some release date in mind. Like I'm gonna try, but I'm sure towards the end there'll be tasks that get crammed. But
yeah, if you guys come up with any workflow or work ethic boosters, let me know, because like, I mean, that's a whole topic we could go into for another day. But just the drive behind wanting to make music, especially your music, and feeling as though you should always want to make your music, if that makes sense. It's a certain kind of pressure. I'm
trying to start writing at times because I have it scheduled, and even when I don't want to, I'm trying that a bit. I'm like, you know what? Like I keep saying that, like, oh, when I sit down not wanting to write, I don't come up with much that's good, but like I barely do it in reality. Normally when I don't want to write, I just don't write. So I'm going to be trying for sure on it, because, you know, our lives are crazier now than they were like 5 years ago. Like that, I have some times in the day where it has to be the time that I write. And a lot of the time now it's literally between like 5 and 8 a.m. So like I have to. So that, cool, but I like that this time. I like that this year because that's what the first album came from. The first album came from pressure of like you finished Berkeley, man. Like what do you have to show for this? Like you got to show something. Like you gotta make, like, if this comes out and this isn't good, then like you're just not there yet. Like just can you please try to prove that you're at a level that people will take seriously? And it's just like I so didn't want it to be just another like album that like just my friends said was good, and then you know it didn't really, like, I'm just patting myself on the back because like,
I think you can pass that a little.
A couple ins in the industry that I have are like, yeah, that's good. Like I'll show my buddy, or you know, that kind of thing. I just wanted it to be a thing that carried itself because people were sharing it with other people. And so that desperation of like, oh my gosh, I hope it's not another one of those albums that I put out where it just comes out and some people care and most don't. So like that I'm looking forward to again on this, of like, if I don't make something, it will be very hard for this band to continue if I say this album is not going to happen because I have scheduling conflicts.
Right.
I'm totally up against that. And I think our band as a whole is up against that right now. Is we really could be like, it's just not convenient. And we could just live there and wait for it to be comfortable, and it just won't happen. It won't come out. And it won't get written either. And music videos won't happen, and nothing will happen. So I'm excited about that. And I think that's going to be the thing that I hold on to for album 3 is like, if I don't do this, it's going to really set us back momentum wise, because we've had good momentum up till now. And, if we don't move on it, we could lose it.
Well, why don't you let us inspire each other? So if you guys hunker down and get it done, we will too. Because I think our pressure right now is we're all very of the mind that like not all of these songs are ready, and that's an accurate statement. We don't have vocals written for a lot of stuff, for example. I love last minute additions. I really do. It's where the magic happens.
A lot of my keyboard stuff, like the stuff that I make in the final night or something, is I do enjoy that. Yeah.
my best example of that, because now that we're talking about this, remembering like the pressure of like getting something done, your pressure was initially like, okay, I'm done with Berkeley. We put our first album or EP, it's roughly under 40 minutes, whatever you want to call it, while we were still pretty fresh at Berkeley. And I just remember like the only reason we got it done was because we booked a CD release show. Before the album was done. So like we didn't even have CDs in our hand, and we were like, we got to get these CDs printed, and the only way we could get them shipped to our place on time was to purchase blank CDs and burn them ourselves.
Sick.
So we even sold some kid some blank CD, and he had to like be like, hey, my CD doesn't have anything on it. And then for the second album, the instrumental track Void was not like done until about like a week or so before we sent the whole thing for mastering. Like,
oh, wow.
It's just those kinds of things are and we actually have another song on this coming album that is a similar vibe track that I'm really excited about.
Nice.
Which at this point, like document this, timestamp this right now, like that song basically doesn't exist.
Yeah.
but it's up here. So like I'm sure you've had moments like that where you're like just waiting for the right time to kind of let it all out and commit to an idea.
Measure of a Life was out on the EP for sure. That was the first time that we changed the song form while tracking drums. It was very scary.
That's awesome.
I do not like that at all. I think we might have even recorded a couple different possible endings.
We're probably gonna end up doing that.
That was kind of scary, and I didn't like that feeling, but it turned out fine. You know, because you're not gonna put out something you don't like at the end. So
actually, now that you say that, that track Void that I mentioned before wasn't finished until like I said, roughly a week before mastering. Also in the studio, James didn't know it. So I was like counting beats for him to just like play stuff. So like nothing about that song was ever like, oh yeah, we're just going to do it. And then it's a song. And it's not that technically challenging. It's just more of like a cinematic kind of feel thing, which I think Measure of Life has elements of that too. So like, I'm sure trying to realize the vision of building that is more like conducting an orchestra in your brain. And the problem is like, you have to like conduct the players at the right time when you have studio time, because you can't conduct it when it's not being recorded. That's just not physically possible. You got to take that pre-pro seriously. It saves you so much headache in the end. So we'll see if that happens, but there has yet to be an Aviations release that I haven't like lost a crap ton of sleep the nights leading up to important events. So
that's fine.
It's the way to do it.
Sick. All right, man. Well, I might cut it here just so I have like time to upload this before midnight.
Of course, yeah.
But
could ramble all night.
We totally could. Maybe we will after we shut this off. Except probably got to go get Emmy dinner or something. Or spend some time with my girls. But the ladies. Yeah. If you made it this far, comment that you did. Because
or if you didn't, let us know as well.
If you didn't, say I shut it off right there when you said that.
Just skip to the part where we talk about songs that get people to listen to the rest of the song.
But yeah, it was super fun to have you on here. If anything, an excuse just to talk to you, because we normally talk more during just making things. So it was nice to just talk.
When you need something.
Yeah. Hey, Sam. I love you, and also you're shooting next week. No, yeah.
One of the many best parts of my life is how many people I get to talk to on a daily basis because they need something. You guys are awesome as well.
But yeah, like I hope we see you again soon. I hope at some point we are making something again. I hope at some point that Joey Izzo keyboard solo is finally on the Aviations material. I'm hoping. Sorry, Bloomin'. It's just you're in one of my favorite bands, so it's nothing personal. And then like I just hope after all the COVID, like whether we're playing shows again together or I get to see you guys at a show. I'm excited to see what the hype from the Outliers and the impending stuff brings for you guys as far as the next release and touring, and this should be. I really hope the ball gets rolling for you guys, because I've been a believer since day one.
Yeah, I think the big turning point for us is like we all have to be believers too, and it's kind of a weird way to put it, but just like you said, sitting down and getting it done and being stoked about it. It's like so crazy to like see how the sausage is made and also have to eat it.
Yes.
and know that everyone else is gonna enjoy it too. So like not knowing where it came from. So it's just a crazy amount of.
Well, if you want to check out this dude's work, he has a website. I'll put it in the description. If you want to book him, you can. He's too busy making our stuff. No, it's just anybody you work with, I'm sure has always been super impressed, and I'm happy to know you. And thanks for everything. This dude shot my wedding. That's another. We didn't even talk about that. Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna get you guys another video of that someday. When it's
no. It's perfect. It's perfect because it's just all the material. That's all we need. At some point, if I wanted to make something, I could just edit it together. But I'm glad that we have just all. At some point,
you could do it better than me. That's fine.
I know a few things. It's just like completely all yellow.
Remember the sync clap?
Yeah.
You know what you're doing.
Clap. But yeah, man. I hope everything's going well, and say hi to the fam, and I'll see you when I see you.
I will. My mom saw part of your video and saw, oh, my boys are in the Archeco video. She misses you guys.
She's great. Sick, man. All right. Well, I'll talk to you soon. Have a great rest of your Sunday. All right.
I'll try to.
See you guys. See you tomorrow.
Bye.